AskReddit by the popcorn machine. What is your go-to fact that blows people's minds? You know when you get up too fast and feel dizzy, squeezing stiffening your buttocks together stops the dizziness. If this is true, it will become the most useful fact I have learned from this thread. 80% of Soviet men born in 1923 died during WWII. Still to this day you can see a dip every 20 years or so in birth rates in Russia. We landed on the moon before someone thought to add wheels to suitcases. Moon landing 1969. Wheeled luggage invented 1970. George Washington died in 1799. Dinosaurs were discovered in 1824. George Washington didn't know dinosaurs existed. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. The samurai were abolished in 1867. The fax machine was invented in 1843. A samurai could have sent a fax to Abe Lincoln. All the botox in the world, literally every gram, is produced in a factory in Westport, County Mayo, Ireland. Another fun botox fact. Botox, or botulinum toxin, is a neurotoxin produced by the bacterium Clostridium botulinum and is one of the most poisonous known biological substances. The amount injected into your muscles is small enough to just paralyze them. Greenland sharks can become up to 400 years old and don't reach sexual maturity until they are 150. Hey, leave her alone. She's only 125. Back in the days of dinosaurs, there was no grass. There is some overlap, but there was a time when dinosaurs walked the earth and there was no grass. Grass is, relatively, modern development. One of the theories of why primates moved out of the forests has to do with the origin of grasses. Imagine our proto-ape ancestors happy living mostly in trees, eating fruit and doing an occasional scavenge on the forest floor, which would have been busy with predators. The whole world is mostly jungle, forest, ferns, etc. When the planet starts to cool a bit, grasses begin to appear. Some animals begin to develop advanced digestive organs, the ruminants, enabling them to subsist on grass. Then, certain new predators, dogs and cats, appear to eat the ruminants. All that's left is for a few bold, upright apes to venture out onto the savannah to scavenge a few meat scraps, vastly improving their nutritional intake. From there, we got bigger brains, better at hunting, and after a few million years, a bone club became a spaceship. When airline pilots are trained to fly a new type of jet, the first time they fly it is with paying passengers on board. All the training and testing is done in a simulator. Of course they have a lot of flight time in other airplanes and there is a specially qualified training captain in command. However, my first jet takeoff was LaxDen with 68 unsuspecting passengers. Could you not? Thanks. I just learned this. There are more castles in Germany than McDonald's in the US. And, in every one of the German castles, the ice cream machine isn't broken. A graveyard is connected to a church while a cemetery is not. Caskets are rectangular, while coffins are angled on the sides. There are more trees on planet Earth, 3 trillion, than there are stars in our galaxy, 800 billion. Note it says our galaxy, the Milky Way, not the entire universe. Still, I find the sheer number of trees on our planet impressive. Would you say there are 3 trillion trees? Neptune was originally discovered as apparently inexplicable changes in the orbital path of Uranus. Because a man named Leverrier observing these alterations decided that there must be an orderly reason for it. He calculated where another planet would have to be to cause Uranus to act like that, and still keep the laws of gravitation discovered by Sir Isaac Newton. He then sent his calculations to Royal Observatory in Berlin, and the prediction was within 1 degree of its actual position. He tried this again with Mercury's unexplained wrong orbit, but failed to find anything. Mercury's wrong orbit was then used by Einstein to prove that general relativity is more accurate than Newtonian physics. Ancient Egypt and mammoths existed at the same time. Isolated on small islands north of Siberia until about 4,400 years ago or so. Modern day Italian was standardized based off of the unique dialect of Dante's Inferno. Dante Alighieri legit made up his own special dialect of Italian for Inferno, and then a little while later there was a meeting where everyone was trying to decide what regional dialect would be the standard spoken Italian. They were like, nah, fuck all these existing dialects, we're using his. The gene for 6 fingers is dominant, 5 fingers recessive. Then why don't a lot of people have 6 fingers? OMG usage can be traced back to 1917. In a letter to Winston Churchill no less, Ike. There was a guy who went to his convenience store and bought lottery tickets. Most people in that situation would play different numbers on each ticket, to double their minuscule chances of winning. Not this guy. He played the same numbers on both tickets. It turned out he actually had the winning numbers. And, he owned 2 of the 3 winning tickets for that drawing, which entitled him to take home 2/3 of the jackpot instead of just half. Tamales are one of the oldest dishes on earth, still commonly eaten today. Maybe where you get them. My local place makes them fresh. Whales are closer to artiodactyls, even toad-hoofed animals, than they are to seals or manatees. Whales are essentially just wet deer with extra steps. Surely fewer steps. What with having no feet? There was one homicide recorded in New York City on the 11th of September, 2001. The official crime stats don't include the terrorist attacks because that would tremendously skew the results. Imagine watching the towers go down outside your window and still deciding to shank a motherfucker anyway. The Earth is traveling through space at 2.1 million kmh, 1.3 million mph, relative to the cosmic background radiation. Which means by the time you finished reading this, you've traveled roughly 8,700 kilometers, 5,420 miles, through space. You underestimate how slow I read. A tablespoon of oil can calm about half an acre of water. It spreads out to form a layer 1 molecule thick on top of the water. That's why oil spills are so harmful and destructive. The largest oil spill, BP, was about 61,488,636,185 tablespoons, or about 68,000 miles of damage. You could clean up oil spills using human hair. https://amp.cnn.com/cn-oil-spills-human-hair-matter-of-trust-spc-spc-off-spc-spcn-off-spc-spcn. Giraffes have the same number of neck bones as humans. You could fit the global population on the surface of Lake Superior and each person would have 100 square feet or so. Also, the Great Lakes, in their current formation, are not even as old as the oldest cities in Earth. I only have Great Lakes facts. Oh, also, the North American Great Lakes account for 20% of all surface freshwater on Earth, while the African Great Lakes account for 25%. So between those two systems you have almost half of all freshwater on Earth. Lake Superior also has a very witty Twitter account. I live nowhere near the place, but I really enjoy reading the tweets. In a group of 23 random people, the probability of 2 of them sharing a birthday is over 50%. I have had this explained to me so many times by people far smarter than I, but my god, I don't understand why. Removed. I bet the ones that escape Wolverine must run straight into the Orcus. That Sahara Desert used to be under the ocean, and you can still find seashells in the sand there. One of our best sources on the evolution of whales is a place called Wadi al-Hitan, Valley of the Whales, in the Egyptian desert. The Gunners go underground on the exact same day, Saturday, the 26th of October, 1985, as Marty travels back in time to 1955. Now we need a crossover movie. Black apples exist. We tend to think of apples as being red, though there are, of course, some popular green and yellow varieties. But did you know there are also black apples? Called black diamond apples. They are found in Tibet and are from the Huareniu family of apples, also known as Chinese red delicious. Aside from the black outer color, actually an extremely dark shade of purple, these apples look just like other red delicious apples, down to the white flesh inside. Goths enter the chat. Guinea pigs are born with sight and hearing, and within 3 hours can eat solid food.